It's another divestment disaster.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella. Discover the dark side of love in this goth and lovely romance with Spinsterella. Get Spinsterella in paperback and e-readers at your favorite online bookseller today.
Better get the cool slow, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue.
Singer Tamar Braxton wound up in the shock of her life when she found out that her husband, Jeremy Robinson, a white man, filed for divorce and divorced her in the middle of a vacation. Now, according to reports, Tamar Braxton and Jeremy Robinson were only married for 61 days, and Tamar only found out about this divorce through an email that Jeremy basically sent her while they were on vacation in Turks and Caicos. And this whole situation basically blindsided Tamar Braxton, who thought she had finally found love once she divested from black men who she was previously married to in two previous marriages, and thought that by hopping the fence, she would find love with this white man, Jeremy Robinson, an attorney, and she thought she would have found love with this white man by divesting from black men. But sadly, what happened to Tamar Braxton is she basically wound up the latest black woman to end up in the middle of a divestment disaster. Now, Tamar Braxton had gotten involved with Jeremy Robinson, the attorney she secretly married in February of 2024, and didn't know that this man was basically looking to file for divorce from her in April. And since she didn't know, she thought that things were going good between her, even though she was having some friction with Jeremy over situations such as an alleged situation where she was upset that Jeremy Robinson had been out here with another woman and took her credit card to go spend money on that woman, and was also having arguments allegedly with her white husband, showing how this Prince Charming was not in a situation where things were getting to be happily ever after, but were turning into a divestment disaster. Now, this whole situation with Tamar Braxton, she possibly thought since she had failed relationships with black men in the past, that she would go out here and hope to find better opportunities with white men. However, she did not find those better opportunities. No, what she just did was go out here and attract the white version of the black men that she was involved with, all because she hasn't worked on the issues as related to her. Now, when it comes to many of these black women like Tamar Braxton, like I talk about in my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, many of these black women, again, they think that by changing the race of the man that they're involved with will basically change the paradigm as related to them having a successful relationship. And they believe that if they go out here and pursue a white man, they will basically be in a situation where they can have a successful relationship that will turn into a successful marriage. Unfortunately, these women don't see how the common denominator is them and the pattern that they were socialized in as related to dating and relationships, and the reason why they are in a paradigm of failure, like I talk about in my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, is them, and is due to the way that they have been raised to have relationships. And with Tamar Braxton basically being one of these feminist indoctrinated women, like I talk about in my book, The Woman Crisis, she basically is in a position where she believes that she needs to be the one who has all the power in the relationship and needs to be the head of the relationship. And that basically frustrates a lot of the men that she possibly gets involved with, possibly frustrates those men because those men want to be the head of the relationship, want to be the leader in the relationship, and are looking for a woman to submit to them in the relationship. However, Tamar doesn't want to submit to those men, and because she does not want to submit to those men, and their authority in a relationship, what this does is cause a lot of friction between her and those men because she is a feminist and not a woman. And when it comes to a feminist is completely incompatible with a man because what happens with a feminist and a man is that they wind up in a power struggle, and they wind up in that power struggle because that man wants to assert his leadership that was established to him by God as him being the head, and is looking for a woman to help meet his needs. However, the woman who's indoctrinated into feminism and has a feminist mindset, she's looking to be the leader, and that basically is where the friction is, because when it came to this white man who is an attorney, he's basically looking to be the head of his family, but he cannot be the head of his family with a woman who is a celebrity and is out here doing her own thing. Because that woman is out here doing her own thing, she's not looking to follow the lead of that man. And that possibly was the reason why Tamar Braxton was having such friction between her and this husband. And this is possibly why the entire relationship between them wound up deteriorating over the course of 61 days. Possibly wound up deteriorating because what this man wanted to do was go out here and have a wife optically be the one that would be following his lead. But the whole thing is that this woman didn't want to follow his lead because she was an entertainer. She was a star. And while that kind of woman, again, is an attachment for a man to basically elevate his social status artificially as related to relationships, it doesn't create a dynamic that allows a relationship to really work organically. And what happened between Tamar Braxton and this man basically was he wound up getting frustrated, he wound up getting angry, and as this man possibly wound up getting angry, he basically started to look at pursuing other women, because this white man who basically was posing in black culture with gold chains and Gucci shirts basically said that, hey, he's considered the prize to white women, and again, could go out here and think that he could go out here and have fun with those other women. That's basically what this guy did, and again, but this basically led to her whole relationship falling apart. And as it wound up falling completely apart, this is where she didn't see what was going on as related to this man, who I believe had some really ulterior motives as related to their relationship. I believe that this white man basically had ulterior motives as related to their relationship, because usually white men who basically are what they consider to be high value men, such as lawyers, usually don't get involved with black women unless they basically got to know that woman organically. And I believe what happened with this case is that this man basically got involved with Tamar Braxton because, one, he wanted to elevate his social status among those wealthier social circles, and two, he basically wanted to, again, capitalize on building wealth for himself. Because when it comes to white men don't marry for the same reasons that black men do. Now, black men, in some cases, will marry for love, but when it comes to the white man, he basically marries for business. And because he marries for business, he's looking to build wealth with a partner. And possibly with this guy, what he was looking to do was look to marry for wealth, as she was basically mesmerized by those crystal blue eyes and that creamy white skin. She basically thought, oh, she got one with the crystal blue eyes and creamy white skin and a little Vienna sausage, and thought she basically won the white guy lottery and hoped to divest with this man to have success that she couldn't have with black men. But sadly, what happened to Tamar Braxton is that she's singing another sad love song that, like her sister used to sing, because what happened to her is that she basically got played by a white guy who was looking to take care of his business by, again, being married to this woman and hoping to get a payday for himself as related to the divorce. That possibly was his original plan, But what happened with Jeremy Robinson is basically he got frustrated with dealing with this black woman who basically was loud and argumentative and basically showed that side to this white man. And he basically reached the point where he said enough was enough as related to dealing with this woman's insecurities about him allegedly cheating and looking to arguing, going back and forth with her. And since he didn't want to deal with her and all of her arguing, this is where he covertly filed for divorce because he couldn't take being around this black woman and couldn't take being around her being loud, argumentative, and disrespectful. Couldn't take dealing with that at all. And this possibly is why he wound up filing for divorce behind her back, because he didn't want to hear that big mouth of hers. And he didn't want to hear that big mouth of hers, so he basically looked to try to find a way to get away from this woman without her knowing it. Now, if this guy had basically read the Bible, he would have seen this is why you don't get involved with divorced women, especially women who are divorced twice, because like Ringo talked about in many of his videos and live streams, once a woman has gone out here and had sex with a man, she's basically got the spirits and DNA of that man inside of her. And because she has that spirit and DNA of those men inside of her, this is where it makes it where this woman can't pair bond with that man or connect with that man, because she's already connected to another man, and any other man who looks to get involved with her will have to deal with all of the mental and emotional issues that that woman has from those previous relationships. Moreover, they're going to have to deal with all the spirits and DNA of those other men. So it wouldn't have mattered if Tamar had gotten involved with a white guy. She basically would have been able to connect with that man because she already has all this baggage from her past. And it's all that baggage from her past that has her basically in this relationship with this white man, not seeing that the common denominator for her not being able to make a relationship work is her. The common denominator for why her relationships don't work is her, because she hasn't dealt with the issues as related to her past relationships, and this is why she's continuing to get involved with toxic men. This is why she continues to get involved with toxic men, whether they be black or white. And she thought basically, since the two marriages to black men didn't work, she would go out here and get this white man and look to hashtag divest from those black men and the black community. That's basically what Tamar Braxton thought she would be singing. She thought she would be singing a love song like her sister, but instead of her being able to sing a love song like her sister, no, she's singing another sad love song, and this another sad love song is a new ballad that I think is going to be a platter that I call the divestment disaster. Now, if you want to learn how to avoid the divestment disaster, you can pick up my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, a book that will teach you to identify the paradigm of failure and break out of that paradigm so that you can be on the road to having a successful relationship with a man. And if you want to learn why women wind up on this road to divestment disaster, you can pick up my book, The Woman Crisis, which tells you the difference between a feminist and a woman, and tells you why feminists basically are not going to be able to have relationships, because these women basically emasculate the men they're with because they look to be the leaders in the relationship, and because they want to be the leaders in the relationship, no man can work with that woman. And that's one of the core reasons why Tamar Braxton is basically in situations where she's getting involved with men like this, where she's not cutting records on a platter, but again, winding up in a divestment disaster. And if you want to see me make more videos taking celebrities to the barbecue, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS, All About the Goddess. The Goddess Next Door bears all in the art studio to catch a campus stalker in this action-packed ISIS series mystery. Get your copy of ISIS, All About the Goddess in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.
Now available for the first time in paperback. Why 70% of black women are single. Learn all the reasons why so many black women can't find a husband and why 70% of black women are single. Get your copy of Why 70% of Black Women Are Single on Amazon.com today.
Now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book The Man Crisis comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.